Is Chris here?
Yes, that time. No, Chris on vacation.
We're good. Okay, it's 4:31. I'll call this meeting to order of the Victor Valley Union High School District. Board members present include Barbara Dew, Jose Barrios, and Penny Edmiston. Those who are absent, Josh Garcia and Caleb Castaneda, we wish them well. At this time, I'll entertain community comments. Having none, okay. I'll take a motion to enter closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, call for a vote. Barbara?
Aye.
Aye.
You know, what I might do is call it this way. Those in favor say aye.
Okay.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, aye. No oppositions? It's unanimous. We'll go to closed session. Thank you. We return to regular session. Can I hear a motion? Second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Okay, right hand over your heart. Ready to begin? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for approval of the agenda, we have an item we're pulling in 3A of the 9.1 certificated personnel report. One item's being pulled. So with that being pulled, can I entertain a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So the amended agenda has been approved with the pulling of an item in 3A on this 9.1 certificated personnel report. Okay, item 4.1, options for youth, semi-annual update with Brian Gillespie.
Is the PowerPoint good evening, board members, Dr. Williams, Mr. Moman, Executive Cabinet. Really happy to be here tonight to do our year-end update. We do this twice a year. If we could go to the next slide. The one thing I'd like to highlight as I reflect upon this year and some questions that the board has asked is the support that we get from the district at Options for Youth, the level of collaboration, and just like to say some thank yous. Dr. Hawkins, I know we're working through the apportionment with SPED, and your team has been really collaborative on that. Dr. Rubakava, you've helped me with some contracts with our school safety and security. You've made our school safer for our kids, and I appreciate that. And Dr. Yee, as we work through the district oversights, they become more collaborative. And as we look at the picture, this was the first oversight visit that we had. And what we have implemented, what Dr. Yee has implemented, is after they do the visit, we sit and we discuss what happened in the visit. And it's become a really collaborative approach for us. I'm really happy with the way it's going at this point in time. After that, the team gets all the information together and then sends information to us, and that's where we get to the district oversight visits and things that we need to work on. One of the things that we've been talking about is our instructional materials, making sure they meet California state standard, making sure our novels are up to grade level, and that's something that we're working on. Our instructional program, working specifically with our EL students, making sure they have access to the same curriculum that all the other students do, and instructional strategies, really the implementation of technology. We're excited because we're bringing new Promethean boards in, which is going to allow for more interaction with our students. And then the multi-tiered systems of support, getting a formalized process for students that are falling behind, and making sure that we're meeting their needs. And the last is the career and college readiness. That's one of our goals for this year. We've just added career pathways coordinators to each of the sites using our Title I funds. And so this is something where we're going to be able to better track and promote post-secondary goals for our students. So we're excited about that. And that has come out of the visits that have come from the district. It's kind of been an honor for me to be part of the equity task force with the district. Thank you, Dr. Yee, for allowing me to be part of that. But what it's done for us is now we're creating an equity task force within our school, and we're trying to align our goals with the goals of the district and making sure that there is consistency there. We've created a charter oversight website, and I think most of you have seen that, where we're bringing all the different things together to make the renewal process and just make sure the district has full access to everything that we're doing. And we're really excited about that, and that's been a collaborative effort as well. And then additional supports. My teachers have had the opportunity to attend the district the trainings, and they've really enjoyed being a part of that. They felt as if they were a part of the team, and they've come back and they've been really excited. And that's something that we haven't had before. So that's really a support they're really happy with. Next slide.
And they're coming to the professional development training at the beginning of the school year as well?
Yeah, we're working on that. Some of those are hitting at a time where we have our July intersession, and it's really busy, but we will be sending some. We've got all the dates, and so we're planning on getting more and more staff to those. Even the collaboration in July with the administrative team. I know, Dr. You've talked about bringing me in on that, and I really appreciate being a part of that. So our graduation data, and you can see from 2020 to 2021, we did have a slight decline in a couple of our areas. With the virtual environment that we found ourselves in, that was an issue. One area that we continue to grow in is our African American students. And for the last 3 to 4 years, we've seen an increase, and they far outperformed the other students, not only in graduation rate, but in the E through G completion rates. And we're looking at why is that happening, and how do we replicate that, and how do we keep that going? The orange on there is, and I can't see quite that far, so I'm going to Yeah, it's all students, but that's our projection for like preliminary projections for this year. So we're projecting to be at 82.87%. So we're looking at about a 10% increase with what we're projecting to happen this school year. Now, some of that's because of AB 104. We had a lot of students as an academic recovery program that were on that, so it helped our grad rates, with the number of students that are graduating with that. Next slide. Oh, well, the picture is our graduation. Dr. Yee, thank you for being a part of that. But that was our first in-person graduation in 2 years, and we combined 2 different graduations on the same night. We had some logistical issues, but we're working through those. But it was a really good event, and it was really nice to have an in-person event again. So student progression and attendance. So looking at the amount of work our students are doing consistently. And so in 2021, you're seeing an increase not only in student progression, but attendance. That's the part on the left. So progression went from 53% up to 78%. So a substantial increase. And we equate that to coming out of the virtual environment, getting kids back on campus, giving them the supports they need. And then our attendance rate jumping from 78% up to 89.3%. And in middle school, we saw an even greater increase, going from 55 to 76 and from 80 to 91%. So we're seeing an increase in amount of students' work that's being done and also an increase in the students being on site. Next slide. This is preliminary data for our Rinstar testing. So on the left is our reading data, and our Lcap goal is to have at least 50% of all students demonstrating really lexile growth from the first to second administration, and we're seeing that. We've seen a slight decline in some of those from last year to this year, but we are above that 50%. And then in the math, our goal is 60% of all students will have a student growth percentile of 40 from the first to second. And we're a little bit low on that. We still have some data coming in from our third administration, but that's something that we definitely need to consider and work on for this next school year. And next slide. Core course completion. This is something I personally focus a lot on in making sure our students are finishing the core courses. Again, this was impacted by AB 104 because students were primarily taking core courses, but there were some courses, like senior English that they weren't required to take. So we saw a slight decline in English and in math, but then we saw an increase in science and social studies. So we're looking at that and just trying to increase the amount of courses that students are doing. And this is a weird statistic because we enroll students all throughout the year. So you would think like they should be doing 10, but when a kid comes to us in March, they're only getting 2 or 3 units of English. So it levels based on the school year. So next. Okay, the picture here is our most recent EL celebration. Thank you, Ms. Edmondson, for attending the event. It was really nice to have you there. And for these students, again, it was the first in-person event that we've been able to do for them in the last couple of years. So the first data on the left is our EL reclassification rate. It went from 36.84 to 63.64. Next is our social emotional development, 21% to 31. And again, that's because we've had students on site. We've been able to, at the end of the year, start to do more in-person things. A through G completion, we saw a slight decrease. And this is something we kind of anticipate with AB 104 as an academic recovery program that has a lot of those students that are on that. We're going to see probably our A through G completion rates go down a little bit because those students aren't on that track. But our dropout rate went from 12.36 down to 7.61. So we almost were able to cut that in half, which we're really proud of. Next slide is the fun stuff. So our extracurricular activities, the top left is a career and college day at Dodger Stadium. Top right was our student ASB at a leadership conference. The 2022 one is our prom, which was the first prom we were able to do for 2 years. And actually we had the venue paid for 2 years now. And then grad bash, we're able to do grad night with our students. But our sports program, we were able to bring back, we had soccer, and then we recently just finished up volleyball and basketball. Our basketball team won the championship. Volleyball team made it to the finals. And then we have our student groups, ASB, which we've talked about. We have a gardening group. We're looking at some gaming groups. Field trips have increased and are continue to increase as we move into the new school year. We're able to return to our senior activities. And then we had the EL celebration, which I talked about a little bit ago. So we're coming back with a lot of in-person celebrations of our students, and that's something we're really happy about. Next slide.
OFI allowed me to do independent learning, which I felt worked more for me.
They really just supported me and identified my talents and weaknesses and stuff.
I came here and started realizing that I have more potential than I gave myself.
It was just better fit around my schedule and it allowed me have time to do stuff that I loved and to just calm down and be stress-free.
I like that about Options, that you go at your own pace.
At Options, I was able to connect with my teachers more.
Very much one-on-one with the teachers, and that's what I always needed.
Excellent teachers and staff, like my counselor.
So when Googling OFY, I saw that they had great reviews, and surely enough, I felt really welcomed going into OFY.
They made me feel like home. Safe, surrounded by a good environment, happy, and really, really nice.
So that video was, it's one of our grad videos. So we have students come in and then they, just talk a little bit about the program. And that was part of just a small portion of our graduation video. So that's all I have. I don't know if you guys have any questions on anything or.
Barbara, any questions, comments?
You said there was an increase in Afro-American students or an option for youth, or
an increase in graduation rates.
Graduation.
Yeah, we're continuing to see that they are graduating at a higher rate than any other group. And that's been consistent over 3 to 4 years. 1 year is kind of an anomaly, 2 years maybe a coincidence, but when you have 3 to 4 years, you're starting to see a pattern and trying to understand, what are we doing? Why is that happening with that particular group of students? And just trying to analyze that. But they're doing amazing at our program. So,
Jose, any questions or comments?
Nope, that's good.
Okay. Dr. Williams, I want to commend you for opening the doors to including Options for Youth, helping any way you can as part of our umbrella of our students and our families, and then our boots on the ground, our assistant students. Thank you for embracing those teachers, the staff, and ultimately the students, because all of the students in the high desert are basically our students. I mean, even Josh's students are our students because we're all teachers. So I really commend you, Dr. Williams. I've seen a big shift on how we collaborate with our charter, and I appreciate that. And Mr. Gillespie, thank you. You're always welcoming to us. You're always open to and receptive to ideas, and you provide students to come and speak at our board meetings when we have that available. And so I hope we'll continue with that. And I'm so pleased that your teachers are partaking of the PD that's being offered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very impressed. Okay, item 4.2 is the Lcap plan. Dr. Yi, is that you or is that
It's going to be a presentation, a recorded presentation by Ms. Smith.
Good evening to our governing board, superintendents, executive cabinet, and viewing audience. My name is Christine Foote, and tonight I will present to you the Local Control and Accountability Plan draft presentation for the 2022-2023 Lcap. On our agenda tonight is Part 1, Understanding the Local Control Funding Formula and the Lcap. Part 2, Engaging Educational Partners and their feedback. And Part 3, the Proposed Goals and Actions in the 2022-2023 Lcap. Part 1, Understanding the LCFF and the Lcap. What is the Local Control and Accountability Plan? The Lcap is a 3-year plan that began in 2021 and will sunset in 2024. The Lcap describes the goals, actions, and expenditures to support positive student outcomes. And the Lcap addresses the 8 state and local priorities. What is the goal of the Lcap? The Lcap is our plan, and it provides districts an opportunity to explain to all educational partners how, why, and what programs and services have been selected, and provides educational partners a voice about what services and actions are needed to meet their needs and the needs of students. How are school districts funded? The local control funding formula was established several years ago. First, you have your base grant, and it's based on the grade span of pupils in grades 7 through 8 and 9 through 12 and multiplied by units of ADA. Then you have your concentration grant. It's offered to districts with more than 55% low-income students, EL, and foster homeless youth, and it's an additional 65% of the base grant. Then you have the supplemental grant, which is low-income English learners, foster youth, and homeless youth, and generates 20% more funding above the base grant. And finally, you have other revenue sources. The district also receives other revenues, which includes other state funds, other local funds, and other federal funds such as Title I or ESSER. Part 2, Engaging Educational Partners. The educational partner engagement was completed through meetings on the below dates. We spoke with educational partners at Supper with the Superintendent, the Lcap Advisory Committee meetings, student Lcap forums, the District Management Lcap meeting, community virtual Lcap Town Hall meetings, District English Learner Advisory Committee meetings, and school site parent meetings. The feedback from the educational partner meetings can be found in the stakeholder engagement section of the Lcap on pages 13 through 19. Below are the topics most frequently shared during discussion. The educational partners talked about cleanliness and supervision and safety at all school sites, training for all school staff, parent training and online resources for parents, increasing bilingual staff to help families at school sites, providing additional staff to support student mental health and physical health, support high-interest classes such as career technical education and the arts, increase student expectations while promoting individuality and equity, and promoting MTSS and PBI structures at schools. Part 3, Proposed Goals and Actions in the 2022-2023 Lcap. Goal 1 has remained the same for Victor Valley Union High School District. You may find the 8 actions on pages 25 through 27. We are going to maintain facilities that are in clean and good repair. We're going to support technology access and implementation, support student access to standards-based instructional materials, continue to provide transportation, continue to provide site-based technology support, but Action 6 will be deleted from the plan due to the fact we already purchased our designated and supplemental ELD curriculum. Action 7 will continue with the purchase of instructional materials to support access and equity, and Action 8 will continue to provide resources to bridge the technology access gap for unduplicated students. Once again, Action 6 will be deleted from the 2022-2023 plan. Goal 2 is going to remain the same for Victor Valley Union High School District. You may find the 17 actions on pages 37 through 42. Actions 1 through 8 are listed on the screen. It ranges from district support services for academic success to providing resources for ongoing support to ensure equity in teaching and learning. Goal 2 actions are continued on this slide. Actions 9 through 17 can be found on pages 42 through 45. It ranges from professional development to address equity and achievement gaps to ongoing support for professional learning communities of practice. Goal 3 for Victor Valley Union High School District will remain the same as well. You may find the 7 actions on pages 50 through 54. The actions range from providing purposeful and meaningful supports for health and wellness for student success to providing resources for increased family and student engagement. This year we have a proposed focus goal and actions for foster youth. The 3 broad goals earlier will remain, but we are proposing a new focus goal for foster youth. Victor Valley Union High School District has qualified for the State of California's System of Support for Differentiated Assistance Program for 3 consecutive years, which requires the district to have a specific goal to support foster youth. Through the educational partner engagement, recommendations were solicited for actions and services that would improve foster youth achievement. The actions proposed will provide the services required for our foster youth to continue to make progress towards graduation. Our focus goal for foster youth can be found on pages 55 through 56. Victor Valley Union High School District will increase and improve services for foster youth district-wide to increase foster youth graduation rate by 10% while decreasing the chronic absenteeism rate of foster youth by 5% by June 30th of 2023. Action 1 is foster youth identification. Action 2 is foster youth services and support. And Action 3 is foster youth staff and monitoring. Our next steps will be present a final Lcap document to the governing board on June 27, 2022. And until that time, a current draft of the Lcap is available for review, and all comments and suggestions can be submitted on the district webpage at www.vvuhsd.org and clicking on the Lcap quick link. For questions, please email Ms. Christine Foote at cfoote@vvuhsd.org. Thank you for your attention tonight, and we appreciate your feedback and suggestions as we embark on the revision of our 2022-2023 Lcap.
I had a couple questions, Christine. The low income that we have as part of our supplemental base and concentration, since we're no longer asking families to fill out forms for free and reduced lunch, how do we show that so we can keep our unduplicated funds coming in?
So what we will do is we have to go to a full, I believe this next year coming on board, we'll be in a full, what do you call that?
Community eligibility provision?
No, not that piece, but the full, where we have to gather all signatures. You know, every so few years you have to gather all signatures, and then they allow you to carry that out over the period of time. So we have one of those times. I believe this is next fiscal year. We have that coming up.
Yes.
But we'll be doing a full on-board collecting of signatures, and then that will be our benchmark. That benchmark will stay static unless we receive additional students into the district, and then we'll be able to receive additional funds.
Yeah, those are the income declaration forms.
Thank you. Income service.
So every 3 years, every student in the district, every family should provide an income declaration form to show what their family income is to see if they qualify for free and reduced lunch. We collect all those, that stays on file for 3 years, and then after that, we only have to collect them from new families entering into our district and enrolling in our district.
And
But since we're providing free lunch to all students, do we have a plan to make sure we get that data from the families?
Oh,
that they
so
will
so
still
that's a
contribute that?
collaboration between business services, ed services, and so forth. They've already started the process and the work. We also purchased some software to make it easy in terms of on the child nutrition services side to gather the data. We're going to engage the family engagement liaisons in the process, roll that out to the principals as well to make sure that we get as much data as possible.
Just to concur with what Dr. Hawkins is saying, he's already rolled that out through the IT department. It's already on our website for the IT version of the income data collection survey. It's actually already on our webpage. Our fellows have already done it, and we're actually already collected the data through our central enrollment center already as we start.
So what percentage would we say of our students we already have that data for?
Well, we've enrolled roughly about 1,500 kids so far. So of our about 11, I know we're still projecting, of course, we can't,
We have 800 that are totally clear, as I understand, and we have 700 that are missing a few documents.
920.
Oh, it's 920 that went up? Okay. So we're in the process of completing that enrollment and so forth.
And then what we'll be, and then I'm sorry, and what we'll be doing too, though, is when the kids start to come back to school next year, we already have a plan in place. So when our income surveys will go out with that welcome back packet to collect the surveys then through our fellow department, as well as to doing a really concerted effort with our fellows when we come back to get parents to come in, do them online, and have that data collected by the middle of September, roughly. Because I think it needs to be done by September. I can't remember offhand the date of when it's due, but yeah.
So it's a rolling date, but in September.
But yeah, we do have a plan per Dr. Hawkins's plan. We have a plan in place.
So we've had 1,500 new enrollments so far?
Well, technically, the way it works is per the data. We actually just talked ADA yesterday. So basically, the way it works is we have about 2,500 kids we should be getting from our feeder districts from Adelanto and Victor L. Of those kids, somewhere in the process, about 1,500 have completed enrollment. So we have about 1,000 left out there, and actually that's pretty good for us because we haven't even got to the end of June yet. And then plus that's not counting new enrollment from all of our homes that are being built. So again, Dr. Hawkins has all the projection components, but that's kind of where we're at.
And Madam Chair, I would like to say this. In my tenure here, this has been the best, most comprehensive plan that we've had. We've really looked at previous data. We've looked at loss of data in educational services, between educational services, central enrollment, business services, and our child nutrition piece, because they have a piece of that as well. Ms. Sokolowski back there, wave your hand. Our child nutrition services supervisor. The data capture is really significant this year. We don't want to lose those dollars.
Well, I know granted I'm partial, but I know at least at one site, the parent liaison, they beat the bushes quite a bit to get these things signed and turned in and all that stuff. So I think your little promotion that you guys did, that got people going because they all want to win that prize.
Another question I had, do we anticipate how long we can use the enrollment numbers in lieu of the ADA numbers? And is that going to be an average still for calculating our
kind of tease
LCFF?
it out to me. You say, how long can we use the enrollment numbers?
Well, we're not using average daily attendance. We're using how many are enrolled. That was changed because of
you're talking
COVID.
about the rolling average,
and
yeah.
then it was also an average of the enrollment. And so do we know if it's going to go back to ADA or are we continuing with the enrollment?
Our previous discussion in closed session regarding something, the nuances that are going on, that's a part of the nuance because however the state senate and the assembly comes to conclusions with the governor in terms of what's going to be the final data that we use, we have to wait for that to come with that 45-day revision piece. So the board will be updated regarding what numbers that the state really says that we're going to do in terms of they're going to do the rolling average or just go to the greater of the previous 2 years, the current year or the previous year. That's a part of the discussion that's going on now and will happen in budget reconciliation.
Okay, so we will be informed
You will be
when
informed.
the decision's made.
And I'll write that one down, make sure it happens.
Thank you. Barbara, any questions?
Yeah, I noticed all the way through here on Action 7, it says support, access, and equity. And I also noticed, again, support services to support equity and access for college readiness. I noticed the word equity all the way through here. Equity and achievement gaps. Do we have achievement gaps? Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes, we do.
What are we doing for those kids that are behind, supposedly?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of different instructional programs built within the schools at the middle and at the high school. It could be the Math Connections. It could be the IM9 courses. It could be the Read 180s, the Math 180s, and so forth. What we are looking at for this year is a focus on our African American student achievement. The data from the previous year's historical data does not indicate that there's a disparity amongst their graduation rate as compared to their counterparts in other subgroups. They are still at the high 80s and some of them even the 90s. However, it's the A through G that they're about 20% below the other subgroups like your white counterparts. So we are very excited to be able to roll out a program called Heritage. I believe I shared that with the board a little bit on some Friday notes as well. And it really is going to be targeting our African American students in grades 10 to 12. We are slated to do a transcript analysis on July the 6th and really looking at 285 transcripts of our African American students so we can level them accordingly and provide support needed. Mr. Moman and Dr. Williams have been really supportive and really making sure that wherever the gaps are that we've identified in our data for the different subgroups, that there's a program in place to support them. So that is definitely one thing. We're going to pilot it at Adelanto High School for next year. And Mrs. Dr. Alika Jackson is actually going to be the teacher who's actually going to be released for 3 periods to do the work of Heritage. and work
Are
closely
we
with
going to do
myself.
the same thing at the other schools, the other
That-
comprehensive high schools?
That is our goal. So we'd like to kind of start small to go big, and we'd like to kind of see how this upcoming year will go with that. And then we'd like to go ahead and expand the program. And then also next year too, if you look at our data with our English learners, there's definitely a gap. And that is the work that we're going to be focusing on next year as well, starting with bringing that awareness of the data to all school sites. We are taking a couple of the school sites collaboration day, the one that is managed by administrators, and we're going to be focusing on EL priorities on that.
Right, because I looked at our demographics and saw that we have mostly Hispanic students, but the second largest group is Afro-American.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you. At this time, we'll have our public hearing for the 22-23 Lcap plan. Do we need to start it? Okay, I'll start the hearing at 6:11 p.m. Does anybody from the public want to comment or ask questions during this time? And would we know if someone was calling in if they had a question? No, so they would have to be here. Okay. Going once? Twice? All right, 6:12. I'll consider this hearing as closed. Thank you for your hard work. I know that this really is a collaboration with all of our departments. And Christine, thank you for your hard work as well. At this time, item 5.2, a public hearing about the proposed budget. I'll open this hearing at 6:12 p.m. and invite any comments from the audience, from the dais. Going once. Twice. All right, I'll close this hearing also at 6:12.50 p.m. Thank you. All right, we do have a public comment, so I'd like to read the statement that if you wish to address the board on any topic, including any item on the agenda, please submit your comments to the board president by completing a request to address the board card prior to the meeting and submitting it to the assistant to the superintendent. The president will recognize those who desire to speak either during the public comment section of the agenda or before the particular agenda item. Each speaker should move quickly to the microphone and announce your name before beginning your presentation. Meetings are taped for later transcription. Each speaker is allocated a maximum of 3 minutes. The president may choose to limit each topic to 10, no more than 20 minutes, if substantial numbers of people wish to address the board on one topic. Testimony should be brief and to the point. Speakers should not repeat testimony already presented. Board action may not legally be taken on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. The board may ask such items to be placed on the next agenda for consideration. Testimony is not protected from damage claims for slander. Public charges or allegations may result in legal action being brought by those individuals. The board values constructive community comments and suggestions. It welcomes your participation in the democratic process. Our speaker is Ms. Tanya Martin.
Good evening. I have reached out to all levels of management in this area of bullying and retaliation. Tonight, I am speaking out this time as a community member and an employee of Victor Valley Union High School District. On April 12, 2022, a memo went out from Dr. Rubalcaba regarding organizational structure changes, the evaluations of LVN and RNs. In this memo, it included that we would also be moved under the direction of Business Services Division, along with Mr. Deshaun Dickinson and Kathleen Hardy. When this memo came out, I knew the day would come for revenge to be at my door. It has been less than 2 months, and last week I received my first 2-day notice for discipline with a conference summary in 12 years. Including this summary, it discuss my lack of integrity, work ethic, and unwillingness to help students and coworkers. I am requesting that you read all of the accusations and my responses and ask yourself, what could I have done differently in the situation? The email that I sent you was on 6/12/2022. Because if the situation happened tomorrow, I would handle this situation exactly the same way. The past 2 years have been the worst years of the 12 years that I've worked at Victor Valley Union High School District. And the last 2 months have been awful. I have met several times with the superintendent and the co-superintendent, though I'm not surprised that I now have my own personal experience with the proof to back it up. I've chosen to keep my personal experiences quiet and have been judged by each of you along the way. This is not the platform that I am most comfortable speaking in, although now I feel that it is necessary. Please tell me why the employees of this district continuously must put up with these type of behaviors by leaders of this district. Why are we paying lawyers hundreds of thousands of dollars to write conference summaries that are blatant lies with no facts, as well as management not following union contracts? Certain areas of the district leadership are using lawyers and fighting personal agendas by creating personal relationships with district lawyers. A conference is an informal summary as a conversation with a management. The conversations are not even happening anymore. Myself and other CSCA co-workers have received these letters before even having meetings. Do managers now hire lawyers to prepare conference summaries? Who is responsible for monitoring these types of situations? When will this behavior be investigated and stopped? And we stop wasting taxpayers' dollars on frivolous matters that are written by lawyers so it could be pushed through? As I have asked many times before, I ask, you investigate these issues that I'm now facing the challenges of fighting unfactual information from Cameron and upper level management. So I'm at the point now that I'm losing sleep and having anxiety. As always, I'm ready to answer any questions, clarifying questions, or concerns related to any matters. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, item 7.1, VBTA report. I see Mike Mayo.
All right, good evening, board members. My name is Mike Mayo, and I am Victor Valley Teachers Association President-elect, and I speak tonight for our association. Anita is in Italy or Greece or somewhere now, enjoying her time, I'm sure. All right, so Victor Valley Teachers Association is happy to announce that our negotiation team and VVUHSD's negotiation team have finally come to an agreement, and we've finished bargaining for the 2021, 2022, 23, 24 successor contract. Although we did not reach agreement until after the conclusion of our members' academic year, both teams accomplished this settlement, and not only this settlement, but also an earlier one for the entire year, which is not an easy thing to do. And so I actually need to give some credit to the district's negotiation team, because they did push to try to get both those done in the same academic year, and we were so close. We were only off by a little bit. I personally want to thank the school board for listening to us and putting your trust in not just VVTA, but also the numbers that we were explaining. Our association shared those numbers with you, and we do appreciate you listening. Without you and your direction in this matter, the struggle would have continued likely well into the following school year. And now that doesn't have to happen. I thank the district negotiation team again for how quickly we were able to resolve a majority of the CBA articles through open dialogue and mutual consideration. And that is a fact. I mean, most of the time it was very easy for us to get through some of the issues and have actual conversations. We did not reach significant points of contention until, of course, we had to discuss funding, which is almost always the issue. I reserve a special thanks to Victor Valley Teachers Association membership. VVTA is strong because we have numbers and many members who take an active role to ensure that our stakeholders are constantly recognized, they understand what our values are, And it's for the students who are coming to our classes, for the kids who the counselors serve. It's for the same kids who are riding in the school buses on the way here to the campuses. We also value the time and the resources necessary to serve both them and their families. And I think the families would agree. Now for TA ratification, I need to make sure that you understand what's happening next. Our chief negotiator, Jared Nichols, he's published and he also later shared the TAs and the MOUs during 2 general membership meetings that took place on June 13th, so just a few days ago. VVTA votes to ratify the TAs on June 21st, and Jared Nichols will speak for our association on the following June 27th board meeting to share those results as to whether we ratified or not. As far as some concerns that we do have, because there are still a couple that are out there and we haven't started the next school year yet. And again, we want to have some open communication with you. Now that VVTA has provided the district our timeline for the ratification vote for our TAs, we ask the district now to offer your timelines for board ratification if our membership ratifies. Furthermore, we would like to know what the district's plan or timeline is for retroactive payments if, again, our membership ratifies. Second thing, VVUHSD needs to continue to fill positions necessary for strong staff and for a strong start of our school year. That's going to be extremely important, and there is some concern. And this is prior to these kids, our kids, filling the seats in our classrooms. We owe it to the students, families, classified staff, and certificated staff, including site administrators, to create an educational environment that stakeholders can trust. This is a concern still because VVTA knows that since June 2nd, and you can check the agendas and the documents there on June 2nd, there were 11 hires, there were 30 retirees, 5 resignations. Since June 16th, that's today, there are 7 hires and 4 more resignations. Now, on paper, I'm not saying that's what it looks like right now. I'm sure Dr. Rubalcaba has a different number now. But on paper, it just looks scary. So this puts the total leaving FTEs from our association up to 39 positions, with newly hired FTEs up to 18. Leaving the district with 21 fewer FTEs for this next year. And so that's just a red flag. And it is possible that much of that's going to be remedied. I'm sure that there have been more hires going on since then, since the report of this document, and I hope that is the case. I have spoken of these red flags before, and this is just going to be one of them. If VVTA is asking for more FTEs, if site administrators are asking for more FTEs, our hope is that HR is allowed to hire these positions, especially when VVUHSD is projected potentially to increase in enrollment again this next year. Finally, I wish Dr. Hawkins good luck in his new role as superintendent up north. It is a tremendous responsibility, and I would never want that. I hope our district is mindful of who they do hire to replace this position, because we have a lot of leadership positions that are changing here. We've had leadership positions changing at VVTA, leadership positions that changed with CTA, and just an awful lot of changes. And so it would be nice to make sure that we have some plans and organization moving forward. I want to thank Dr. Rubalcaba, Dr. Yee, Mr. Lloyd for meeting with us about an informal grievance. It will not always be the case that when issues arise, they can be easily remedied, but when we can respect the contract language that binds VVTA and VVUHSD and seek to resolve issues through open communication, it will hopefully forge a better relationship between our association and the district, which is what I think we're looking to try to do. It's easier when we are able to work together rather than working against each other. I thank the board for their time, and I wish everyone a relaxing break. But before I go, slight change of plan to what I have written here. I got a text from a relative of mine who just wanted to stop by and check things out just for fun. and a former teacher, former strong union representative, and that's my mother, who's here today. she decided to stop by and say hi. So also former English teacher, and so in a lot of ways, if you look at this messed up individual here, you'll know exactly where I got it from. All right, thank you.
By any chance, did you teach in our district?
No, I did not. Mike and his sister Angela both graduated from Victor, but I taught at AAE in Apple Valley, and I also taught in Fontana for 7 years.
Well, thank you for giving us 2 wonderful employees and union leaders. Thank you.
They are.
Nice to meet you. 7.2 CSEA report, Mrs. Martin.
Good evening again. On a lighter note, CSEA did meet with the district this Thursday, and we were able to close some of our MOUs out and rectify some of our challenges we had with the time changes. So we'll have some of those coming to you from our way. And we haven't scheduled when we're going to ratify with the members. We thank BBTA for their awesome salary, so we don't have to go bargain. We did an MOU for the Me Too, so we will not go back into negotiations until next school year. But I haven't scheduled for our ratification vote. We haven't decided if we're going to wait to the first week of August or if we're going to try to get our members together during the summer. It's really hard to get classified to come back during the summer to vote. So we haven't decided as a leadership team whether we're going to take that route or if we're going to wait to the first week back in school to do the vote. But we will let you guys know at the next board meeting what our decision is. Someone will be sitting in for me at the next board meeting because I will not be in attendance. I have a prior arrangement, and that's it. I just want to wish everybody a restful summer break. I'm off for about 30 days. So I will be doing my education that time. So I won't be off, but I'll be away, but always a phone call away. So you'll see me, but not in the working capacity back until June. Good night.
Thank you. Tanya, does your unit vote electronically or do they do paper pencil ballot?
We were back to paper.
Okay, so we would need them to be on track to be able to be fair for them to vote.
It's very hard to get them.
Absolutely, I understand. And, they already made their plans, so that would be reasonable for us to wait until they're back on
Just want to
time.
give a heads up because we don't have an ETA yet.
Okay, thank you. All right, board, we're moving on to the consent items, which includes 8.1, approval of consent agenda items, 8.2 minutes, 8.3 donations, 8.4 permanent PE exemption list, and 8.5 overnight educational study trips.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. Action items 9.1, certificated personnel report. We did pull item in 3A, but that is now amended. So can I please entertain a
So
motion?
moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. No discussion?
I'm sorry,
I
discussion.
just had one question. So I read that Ms. Osterberg at Lakeview is leaving.
Yes.
Tennessee.
Any idea? To Tennessee?
Out of state.
Yeah. So now we have to replace the robotics teacher again at Lakeview. So that's 2 good ones in a row. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's all.
Any further discussion? Okay, call for vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. 9.2, classified personnel report.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, question. Okay, on 2B. All right. Now, is this describing a career center technician?
Yes, that is correct. So Lakeview Leadership Academy and Goodwill Virtual Independent Studies do not have a career tech at this time. Every other school does. We just want to make it fair across the board.
Okay, and I totally agree with you on that. But why is it a 218-day position?
That's what I believe. All the other positions are the same. They're 218 days, but I will double check that.
They
vary.
They vary. Okay.
Yeah, all the career centers that I've seen at the high schools, they usually pretty much follow the
the school calendar.
The teachers classified school calendar.
Yeah, there are some interesting historical pieces as to why one position may be more days than the other. Those are the types of things that we're addressing through attrition and little by little to make them as close as possible to the same. But it will take some time to clean up some of those things.
Okay. If it's 218, hey, bless their heart. So those two schools, their career centers should be dynamite. All right.
That's the hope for all of our schools.
Okay. That's all.
Further discussion? Okay, call for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Item 9.4, bell schedules.
So moved.
9.3?
9.3.
Oh, I'm sorry, 9.3. I
9.3.
apologize.
3.
I apologize. 9.3, order of election and specifications for November 8th.
So moved.
Okay, discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. 9.4, bell schedules.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, under protest, we got to vote for this one. All right. That's all.
Okay. Well, I was told that there was collaboration and that you diligently met and association met and an MOU is being worked on so that a protocol is established.
No, we were able to resolve an informal grievance through collaboration. We exchanged the information that we agreed to, and VVTA has withdrawn its informal grievance. They are comfortable with the board moving forward,
Okay.
and the district would like that very much.
Okay.
And hopefully Sacramento will wake up when they see that this is not going to change test results. Instruction, small class sizes, and things like that is going to change scores, not the time people can start school.
Well, this wasn't regarding starting time for school. This was the
it's bell
instructional
bell
minutes.
schedules. Bell schedules.
This is
are starting
instructional
time.
minutes, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what bell schedules are.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. 9.5, contract with food safety systems.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. 9.6, contract with Smartest Ed, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. 9.7, a contract with Rockview Farms Dairy Distribution.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. 9.8, a contract with Rise Interpreting, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. 9.9, a contract with Interpreters Unlimited.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, one thing, okay, it talked about telephones, it talked about, video conferencing. So this group, so a parent comes in, we will have the capability for them to go onto their smartphone to do basically a video chat to translate the conversation between the parent and whatever school personnel are dealing with. That's what it comes down to?
Mhm.
Okay, good. And if they do not have a cell phone or device, we will have something where they could do it like a tablet or something.
Absolutely. Whether it's SST meetings, IEP meetings, whether it's just a PTC meeting, or whether they're just coming in and we know they need translation, it'll just be an opportunity for us to be able to call the service and be able to get a
Right, and they'll be on demand, so we can get them because you know how it goes at schools. When the parents come, you gotta take care of them. Right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right.
Okay, call for vote.
Aye.
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 Passes unanimously. 9.10, a contract renewal for Viatron Systems.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Just one, my usual question. Okay, we use them now because this is a renewal. How do we like the system's results?
I haven't heard of any complaints. I know that Dave was looking at maybe other options, and I believe when he vetted it through, currently, this is the best option now.
So right now, this is. the
This
best we
is
can
what,
do?
yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay, call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. 9.11, contract with Gold Star Foods.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. 9.12, another contract with Gold Star Foods. This is more the frozen and fresh bread items.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. 9.13, contract with Gold Star Foods. This is fresh produce.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. 9.14, P&R paper.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. 9.15, notice of completion for the portable roofs at Victor Valley High School.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, too bad Brett's not here. I was gonna ask him about how the thing went and what he thought about the job, but obviously it's good or he wouldn't have got this on the agenda.
And also, I went out and reviewed it. They did a phenomenal job. It was quick, very quick, and we didn't have run into any problems.
So no leaks in November, right?
No leaks in November.
Well,
Got some
those
warranty
portables
period
down
on it.
there, I'm surprised they're still standing.
Yeah.
'Cause, they've been through a lot.
We're going to be going through looking at just roofs, period. That's a part of our capital.
Well, no, that's
facilities
good.
improvement program.
That's all.
When they were working, it was really hot that period
It
of time.
was, yes, it was.
Commendation
I
for
offered them
those
some water.
workers. Yeah.
Yes, being
I know
a
we
roofer
contracted
in the
them.
high desert is not a very thankful job.
We had a heat wave when they were working like 90-something degrees.
It was. I
awful.
saw them. Yeah.
I felt for them when I drove by.
All right. Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. 9.16, board policy admin regulation revisions, the final reading.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. We have item 10.1, expulsions. We will not discuss that, but we will have a motion in a second.
So moved.
Hey, so moved.
She moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Passes unanimously. Item 11 includes conference requests, 11.1 and 11.2, board policy admin regulations, first reading. Any discussion? Okay. Moving on to staff reports, 12.1, business services.
I don't have too much to report tonight, except that business services is working on the adopted budget in concurrence with concurrently with the closing of the books. We're also preparing for some of the budget revision information that's going to come out from the state after the lower house, the assembly, and the upper house, the state senate, reconciles their challenges with the governor and what the governor will, they all agree upon he'll be willing to sign without being vetoed. And we're also looking at a measurable plan for the community as it relates to our school community regarding retroactive payments and so forth. We'll have some information possibly coming out regarding that publicly, and further discussion with the board and so forth. And I'll save my other comments for my last board meeting on the 27th. That will be my last board meeting with Victor Valley Union High School District.
Let me tell you, we appreciate all that you've done. 12.2, ed services.
Good evening, everyone. Wow, I can't believe it's 6:39 and we're doing already board share out. So
We're not done yet.
I know. I'm sure we're going to be going back. But I just want to thank, first of all, Brian Gillespie. Thank you so much. Just, like you mentioned about collaboration, it takes two, for that process. So just I've been enjoying, getting to know you, learning more about options for youth and just the partnership that we're having. So kudos to you and your team as well, too. So thank you for your partnership and collaboration. Really proud of the progress that we're making. Also, Christine, always such a great job. Just the time and the work behind the scene. Nobody will ever know that. But just grateful for your leadership in that role, your knowledge and skill set. and just your professionalism. Thank you for doing such a good job. And then, of course, Dr. Hawkins and Ms. Shantae Milton, your partnership in ensuring that we complete the BOP and the expenditure reports and all of the good stuff that comes, with the Lcap. It really is a multi-division, lots of hands in it. So your leadership and your support is greatly appreciated by the Ed Services team. So thank you for making that happen, So just a couple of things that are going on in Ed Services I want to share with the board. Currently, we have, summer school going on. We're going to be finishing the first 2 weeks, and then we'll start off the second semester next week on Tuesday. Looking over, I'll give you better numbers of how many students we currently have, but I know the last count was about 1,800 students. So that's good, because we know that our students really need to come back and be able to recover some of the credits that they might be missing. So thank you to Lorraine Collins and all of our summer school principals who are doing an excellent job in just taking care of that. Also, I had worked with Dr. Carol Cronk and really looking at our APEX program, our credit recovery program. She'll give you better numbers at the next board meeting, but I wanted to share with you preliminary numbers of how many credits that our students have been able to recover through APEX, and it's outstanding. So they've been able to recover, it's 1537 classes that they've taken, which times by 5 equals over 7,000 credits that were recovered this past year. So that is what we're looking at. And looking at kind of previous year's numbers too, it is a lot higher. So, and I think that's just when our kids came back from the pandemic, I really just, ensuring and that the counselors put them in those classes either during the instructional day or after to really make sure that we give them an opportunity to be successful and make up those credits. So kudos also to Dr. Cronk for working really hard on APEX and our APEX teachers and counselors and admin. But you'll get more numbers. And speaking of Dr. Cronk, her and I were able to go meet one of my dear friends in Riverside Unified School District. He is a director of research assessment and accountability, and of which her role is that now as a coordinator of research assessment and and evaluation. So we're able to get some really good ideas. Looking forward to working more with data and how we evaluate our programs and our decisions based on that. And also I placed a copy for the Board of Trustees, just our end of the year, kind of second semester Ed Services newsletter. I started it off this year with my team, and they did a really good job in just ensuring that we're always communicating what is going on so that our teachers are aware of it, our administrators and the board as well, of all the fine things that are going on in our district. And also just lastly, recognizing that this is a month for LGBTQ Pride Month. And also we're celebrating Juneteenth as a federal holiday on Monday. So just appreciation, just that we're acknowledging that it's about our people and diversity and humanity. And it aligns really well with our equity work and our core values in our district. So I'm really happy about that. And that is it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Yee. Dr. Rubalcaba?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, VVTA and CSCA. We settled it. And, for a minute, it got a little rough. And we didn't think we could, but we did. And that speaks to the relationship. And it speaks to the collaboration. So thank you. We are in agreement. Reopeners will be happening for the 22-23 school year. That process we'd like to start earlier so that we can try to resolve bargaining and then focus on teaching and learning. We do have other issues, other items that we are still negotiating with CSCA, and we look forward to resolving those, just like we have resolved other grievances and matters with VVTA. It's always a win-win situation when we keep the doors of communication open. I too want to commend Brian. Wonderful presentation, and really appreciate the partnership as well. We're always here to support you, and we're just a phone call or a text away. And don't be mad at us for taking some of your teachers. We promise we'll treat them well. Yes, actually you're right. It's going both ways. Christine, also an excellent job on the Lcap presentation. I liked it so much. I'm actually bringing you over to my department and instilling you. So good job. Now, there was a comment about concerns around hiring. So I'd like to provide a quick update. 2 weeks ago, there were 11 teachers hired, right? 11 certificated employees hired. Since then, there's now a total of 42 certificated employees hired. That's 31 in 2 weeks. And we have a lot of interviews scheduled for tomorrow and a lot of interviews scheduled for next week. And that really speaks to the commitment of our principals, our directors, coordinators, other leaders who are committed to getting this work done. It also speaks volumes about Team HR. We have people really stepping up to the plate to get the work done, and I couldn't be prouder of our team. So stay tuned because we're hiring, and our goal is to be fully staffed by June 30th. Yes, before school starts, while everyone's enjoying their summer. So on the classified side, we've hired a lot of people. And we anticipate having all of our bus drivers, all of our instructionals, all of our campus security, everyone hired by June 30th. Now, we might miss the mark by a couple here and there because it's a changing number. We hire 5 teachers, 6 teachers this week. We get 2 resignations next week. And it's just a never-ending story. So just keep that in mind. Once again, thank you to our principals and all of our leaders for your commitment and giving up of your time. It makes our job a lot easier. Also want to say happy Juneteenth and, hope everyone enjoys that time off. And whoever's off for the summer, have a safe summer and enjoy the time off and focus on self so you can continue to serve others better. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rubalcaba. Dr. Williams, legislation.
We don't have any new legislation this week.
All right, thank you. Board member comment, starting with Mr. Barrios.
Okay, well, first, it's too bad Mike's mom left because it was kind of nice. I've never met her. It's nice to see the person behind the legends. All right. Number 2, did anybody ever find out what happened with those orders at Adelanto? I was told they ordered stuff in September and they still haven't even gotten it.
Nothing further has been brought to our attention. What I will commit to do is to touch bases with Miss Purcell tomorrow and see because we've done all the orders for the fiscal year. Is there something that's missing?
Well, she said this is Miss LaBrosse, and she's pretty meticulous about stuff.
She's a teacher.
What's
Miss
that?
LaBrosse is a teacher.
Miss LaBrosse? Yeah.
Oh,
she's a CTE teacher out there.
CTE.
They run a great program, and if anybody should get stuff quick, it should be them.
Okay.
But,
we'll follow up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'll put it in the Friday notes.
I just hate to see that, having experienced, when I was a teacher, I never had anything like that. I just ordered pencils and pens and stuff. They're ordering some.
We'll check, Mr. Barrios.
All right, well, good. Yeah, just to help her out. All right, number 3, I had them all over the place. Congratulations again to Dr. Hawkins. Okay, you're gonna be missed. And the only catch is now we got to find another Hawkins to make it 3 at a time. The second Hawkins in that position, 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So we got quite a search in front of us. Okay.
The only other Hawkins in the state is up in is Yancey Hawkins up in I think Elk Grove Unified, but I don't think he'll be willing to leave.
That's no problem. We go everywhere. Okay. That's Team HR will take care of that.
That's right.
All right. And talking about all the Apex credits and all that, I would be willing to bet that somebody close to me, Ms. Vargas Corona at Victor Valley High School, has quite a big chunk of those because I had to sit and wait for her to get them all done and recorded. So I know there's quite a few. And finally, summer's finally here, so everybody enjoy, not too much, hydrate and try and be safe because I know a lot of things happen when it's this hot. So that's it.
Thank you. Mrs. Dew?
First of all, I want to say that we're really going to miss you, but I've already talked to you. That's why I'm not saying anything hardly. But I will be seeing you probably in different areas of the state. So hopefully you will be going to some of those same meetings that we go to all the time.
Yes.
And thank you, Option for Youth. I used to be on your board in the 90s, believe it or not. And helped you with help them with their curriculum to make sure their curriculum was correct for our district. Otherwise, it would have been offset, which it was. So thanks for that information that you gave us about Option for Youth and what you guys are doing. And I'm glad we're connected to it. One of the things that's happening is that right now up in Sacramento, what they're looking at, the bills that they have left over or that they're working on, it's the governor, the assembly, and the Senate is working on those bills right now. One of them is hopefully that Assembly Bill 2933, that's home to transportation. If we can get that fully funded with 100%, we're going to try to do that as much as we possibly can. So hopefully we can get that passed through and all three groups will, and the governor will sign it so that we can have 100% money for transportation. Since they won't change anything over for our district, hopefully that will happen. And it's by O'Donnell. So if anybody asks you any questions about that, that's the bill we're pushing. We're not pushing the other one because it requires too much. And CSBA, which is California School Board, is the one that's sponsoring it along with AXA as well. I want to say Happy Father's Day coming up for all the fathers in here. And I hope you have a great day that day with your kids and family. And also happy Juneteenth, which is coming up as well. People that didn't know that they were free. We still have people that don't think they're free. So it's not unusual. Have a very nice summer. Please do things with your family and enjoy your life as much as you possibly can. Even if you don't go on a trip, go to your backyard, and hang out there. But have a very nice summer for everybody. And thank you, Mr. Mayos. You're the man now. Where's your mom? She left, huh?
Yeah, she couldn't take it anymore. Too much excitement.
Too much excitement. Yeah, right. Is she visiting you right now?
She just lives up in Lake Road. She was down here earlier.
Oh, she lives up in Lake Area. Oh,
board meeting. I guess we'll go.
Oh, she's just down here checking you guys out. That's pretty nice. Well, hopefully next year will be a better year and we'll get everything done. Of course, we have to close the books for this year and then and do everything next year because even the county is closing the books. And like he was saying, they're changing the system down in the county area. So
statewide.
Yeah, actually not, I shouldn't say county, the whole state, they're changing the system. And so next year, the system will be back, it'll be finished by then, right?
They're completing it now. The standard account structure software, accounting software, state SACS, which the state requires every school system in the state to use, is finally being upgraded after years and years and years of complaints.
Right.
So there's a shutdown window.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'll be next year
to roll it
when we get back on track with everything. Even they are shutting down, so you can't do anything without them. So definitely, we'll wait till next year. But anyway, and Tanya, you're going to be gone? You're going to take a vacation? Yeah.
Study trip, not a vacation.
A study trip. Oh, okay.
But I have 30 days off.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's good. So you're going to school this summer? Okay. All right. Well, anyway, take some time off as well and enjoy part of your life there because that's very important. Okay, and that's it.
All right.
Well, thank you. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Brian, thank you so much for the reclassification ceremony. I really love this quote. A different language is a different vision of life. And I think we can all relate to that and how your students have a broader view of the world because of all of their hard work. I appreciate what you do. And again, to our team for helping to work cohesively together. And again, honor our Gay Pride Month and Juneteenth. I want to wish everyone a safe travels if you're going anywhere, and happy staycation or vacation, and stay safe. Be careful. Tomorrow's my last day with my students, and they are such wonderful students. It's going to be hard to say goodbye to them. But I'm very fortunate. I will see them again in their 5th grade year because we're on the same campus. So we have one more day at Victor L. It's going to be a tough day, but I will miss those little kids very much. And that's all I have to say. Moving on to Dr. Williams.
You know, just to make sure that we get out coming up on 7 o'clock, I do not have any comments.
Mr. Moman, the gauntlet has been laid.
Man, that was too easy. I don't have a lot to say, but I want to thank everyone for coming out. Brian, I liked your end of year update. Like every day I come to work, I learn something new. I've only been here a short period of time, but I've learned a lot in a short period of time. And everyone I've worked with since I've been here, I really appreciate their time, their effort, their team effort, which is really important here. Because if we're going to be successful, we have to work as a team. And someone once told me there's no I in team. So that's important. I want to thank Dr. Hawkins, and I wish him the best in his future endeavors. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. And also I want to thank Dr. Williams too for being here and supporting me through a lot of things and providing me a lot of perspective on things that are going on within the district that has allowed me to be able to provide assistance to the district. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Well, our 2 leaders, we're not saying goodbye yet.
One more board meeting.
Yeah, we have 27.
We're not going into closed session, but if I could see Dr. Williams, Mr. Moman briefly, and Dr. Rubalcaba very briefly. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Vote.
Aye.
And Jose, would you like to vote? Aye. Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you all very much.
This was